Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Golf Edition, and my guest for the final episode here in 2018 is none other than Vincent Fauria. Vincent, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. Now, one great factoid about you is that you kind of come from like Menlo fame a little bit. Menlo air, I guess you could say. Your uncle is the coach of the year.
Yeah.
The NWCA. It's Joey Martinez. What's it like to be related to that guy?
Yeah, so I get asked all the time about this guy, and people will say like, "Oh, is he your dad? Is he your uncle?" So he's actually my cousin. Yeah, and so it's been. I mean, I'm really lucky to have like a good inner circle of people around me, and he's one of them. And you know, I mean, like growing up, you know, it was a little bit, you know, he picked on me a little bit, but I probably deserved it a little bit too. So
He's just trying to toughen you up a little bit.
yeah, exactly.
Now, is he the same kind of goofball that we know here in the athletics department, or is he a little bit different on the family side?
I don't know. I mean, he's just kind of like a tough guy, you know, and so being around him, I think, has helped me a lot in my life, and yeah, I don't take him for granted at all.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Tough guy on the outside, but we all know Joey deep down on the inside. You're a big old softy. Now, you spent some time at Chabot College before transitioning over to Menlo College this year. What went into your decision to come over here?
Yeah, so I was commuting to Chabot, so like I would leave my house like at 6:30, 7 in the morning, and I would have class at Chabot, and then 2-hour drive, but with traffic it's like 3 hours back to the valley. And so I finally got my AA, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what else is out there. And you know, so I talked to Joey a little bit, and he was like, hey, you know, just try putting an application in here, see what happens. And I'm glad it worked out. I like being here.
Yeah, that commute, I think, alone would be enough to drive a man insane.
It sucked.
I hate making a drive from like here to San Jose at any time of the day.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine having to go all the way over to Chabot.
Yeah, and I was like, I was trying to work full time, and I was like, man, this is just too hard.
It's just not possible.
Like, can I just be a student for once?
Yeah.
So it worked out.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, you are a little bit of a businessman. You're talking about working, and you have your own business that you started up. Yeah. It's called Oak Roots. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a small little like business. It's a party rental business. So we do tables and chairs, linens, like just it's really basic, but people love us, and like we've done weddings for people. We've done like music festivals, and like it's a great way to like make a little bit extra cash, like especially during the summers.
Oh yeah.
And I get to like have all my friends help me. The twins have helped me. A couple guys on the golf team. So nice. It's been pretty cool.
What got you into that? What made you want to kind of start your own adventure?
I was just tired of working for people, and then I just needed a little bit extra money and like something extra to do. And like my family in Oakdale, my dad's he's a high school teacher, so like having him, like he knows everybody. So I was like, I wanted to call it like my last name, like Fauria Events, but he wouldn't let me. So I was like, all right, I guess I got to go at this from a different angle, and I like doing it. Yeah.
And Oak Roots is a good name.
Yeah, I just thought like, where am I from? Like I'm from Oakdale, so I was like Oak Roots.
Of course, I think of it as, you know, Menlo Oaks,
and that's
where
the other
you
thing
are
too.
now.
Yeah, like it just ties into Menlo, which I didn't plan.
Yeah.
Like I didn't plan that, but it works out.
As long as we don't unrooted Menlo Oaks or Oak Roots. Yeah. See, look at this. See, just so many connections. What got you into golf in the first place? Because it's clear that wrestling never really stuck as your sport.
Yeah. I mean, like in high school, I played football, basketball, baseball. I did track and field for a year. I wasn't really interested in golf that much. But my dad, he would always invite me to go play with him and his buddies. And most of the time I would take a little bit of money from him, or like a milkshake or something. Yeah. So I just started working at it more when I graduated high school, and and I never really thought I was going to be playing competitive golf. Like if you would have asked me this a year ago, if I would have been here, I probably would have laughed. Yeah. But I'm really glad I'm here, and I've met a lot of great people, and it's just I'm just happy to be here. Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about the team here. The regular season is over for the golf team, and this has been a monumental season for Menlo College golf in many ways. What has been the biggest reason for the improvement of this year's team?
Oh man, I think the biggest reason that we've improved is I think guys they want to challenge other guys on the team. So like we do like head-to-head matchups at practice, or like putting, chipping, you name it, and guys get really competitive. I'm one of them, and guys get heated if they lose. You know, they want another chance, another crack at it. But I would say like from our top guy to our last guy, everybody wants to have a shot at everybody.
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to beat somebody. So having that mentality, like that culture on the team, I think it's great.
And having a really deep roster too. You know, in years past, the Menlo golf teams have had maybe 6-7 guys on it, and there's only 6 or 7 guys competing for 5 spots on a tournament roster.
Yeah.
Here you guys are up to like what? You have like 12 now?
I think we
12
have
or 13?
Yeah, and next year we're gonna add a couple more.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good too.
Yeah, so you're going to be rejecting from the team of 5 more than you're actually going to have on that team of 5.
Yeah.
That creates a lot of competition.
A lot of competition and a lot of just guys wanting to get better.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, like I'm trying my hardest out there to beat the guy that's in front of me, and I know he's doing the same exact thing for the next guy up.
Yeah, and the person behind you as well.
Yeah, and there's people there's always going to be someone chasing, which is like having that atmosphere on the team. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, it really seems like this year's team is a lot closer, too, in terms of chemistry than some of the other teams of yesteryears. How has chemistry helped make you guys better on a weekly basis?
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie, like, when the new guys came in, and which I was a part of the new guys, there was a little bit of, like, a divide, because, I mean, you had the guys that are already here, and then you have all these new people. But since that time, I mean, we've came together as a team, for sure. We've had team bonding sessions of just like guys hanging out, and that just goes back to the culture thing. You know, like we want everyone to get better. Like, you know, you might not like, let's say you don't like somebody, but you still want them to get better. You know, and that just helps our team chemistry for sure.
Does being on the road at tournaments have anything to do with that too?
Oh yeah. That's when I talked about the team bonding. That was a tournament in Oregon we were at, and yeah, we had team bonding, and then. Yeah, and maybe some wrestling matches here and there, but it's all for the better.
Yeah, we'll talk about wrestling a little bit later on here. There's a bit of a gap now between the final tournament of the year and the conference championships coming up early next week. As a golfer, do you view that extra rest as a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, so I mean, Coach Givens, he's really big on like taking things as a positive or a negative. You know, classifying things. So having time off, that's not really something that we can control. So we just have to take that and be like, okay, we're just going to take this time to get better. And we do that in weekly competitions. And I mean, yeah, so like we can't really control that, you know, so we just got to take that as a positive and say, hey, you know, we don't have a tournament, let's just take this week and try to get, you know, as best as we can.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about having to practice golf and then go into a tournament is it's still really in your control.
Yeah.
You are practicing. Sure, it's a different course and different circumstances, but you know, like baseball, you could have practices. You're facing your own guys. You go into a game, you're facing someone completely different.
Yeah, it's someone totally new.
Yeah, golf, it still does rest ultimately on your shoulders, so you have enough time to stay sharp on the side.
Yeah, it's a big mental game too. So you got to keep your mind right.
Absolutely. Now, it comes down to the conference championships to decide who will go on to the national tournament in May. What's the mindset going into this potential final event of the season?
Yeah, so I think everyone on the team has the same mindset right now. We're just kind of focusing on what we can control, taking it one shot at a time, not getting too ahead of ourselves. Because, I mean, that tournament, we play 2 rounds of golf in one day.
Yeah.
And for someone who like doesn't really play golf, they're like, okay, that's like, what's the big deal about that? Well, it's a grind. I mean, you have to be, like, with your mind, you have to be on for like, sometimes it's like 12 hours. Yeah. And that's really hard to do. So our main focus is to just focus on the shot that we have in front of us, because there's a lot of golf to be played. A lot of things could happen.
Yeah.
You know.
And of course, the overall mindset, get our butts to nationals.
Yeah.
That being the overarching
For sure.
goal, no doubt. All right, Vincent, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 off-the-wall questions. You give me your best answers.
Okay.
Question number 1, which teammate would make the worst wrestler?
The worst wrestler? Oh, I think this is easy. I think the whole team would agree. But not to knock this guy at all, but Davis Harris, he's a freshman, and he's working on it. He's getting stronger. But I would say from a wrestling standpoint, he's a great golfer.
Yeah.
But from a wrestling standpoint, he has some work to do, for sure.
What's his biggest weakness?
Biggest weakness, man, I'd have to probably say strength. But like I said, he's in the gym all the time, trying to get bigger. So, and he told me this summer he's gonna come back, in the fall, and he's gonna be ripped. So, and I totally believe him.
Trying to get on that Victor Brankovic strength and conditioning workout program, or what?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2: which teammate would make the worst relative?
The worst relative? I probably have to say, not to call this guy out either, but probably
You want to call him? Come on.
probably Doug Burton. And the only reason I say that is because he's the type of guy that, let's say like there's a sandwich right on the table, and he doesn't know it's yours. He'll probably eat it.
Yeah.
But it could be your favorite sandwich. But
He doesn't
not to
care.
knock Doug. Doug's a great guy. I'm happy to have him on my team.
Yeah. Doug, we all know that you love making family gatherings interesting, I'm sure. So I think that would be another reason why. I could just picture Doug being the kind of guy who...
But also, that makes it fun, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's not to say it's not a good thing. It just, keeps a little spice in it.
The worst relative isn't always like the meanest. You know?
Sometimes the worst relative is the one who just kind of sits there and is like...
Scheming.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on in that person's mind. Not with Doug. We always know what's going on with Doug because he's always saying what's going on with Doug.
He vocalizes it.
Doug, I've said it before on the show, we absolutely love you. And then question number 3, which teammate has the most creative idea for starting his own business?
It's a good thing you said teammate, because it would probably be Coach Givens. Because he's always saying, oh, like, we'll pass by somewhere and he'll be like, oh, we should start one of those. Or like, hey, have you ever thought about this? He's always saying that. But on the team, I probably have to say Christian Engel. I always tell him he should have been like an engineering major, because he's always thinking about like the weirdest things and like how things work.
Yeah.
And I tell him all the time, dude, like, hey, are you sure you don't want to like major in science or something, dude? Because you're thinking a lot, like too much for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And any of these in potential inventions or whatever, are they golf related?
Not like really, but I'm sure he can make something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now circling back to Coach Givens, is it like you're driving along and you see a Starbucks? Hey, we should open up a Starbucks, something like that?
No,
or
it's different ideas. Like it'll be like I don't want to give any away.
Oh, come on, you got to give something away.
I don't want to give any away, but like he's always saying like how we should go, because in the summer times he goes to Idaho.
Yeah.
So he's always invited us to go to Idaho in the summer and like start a business and run a business with him, which is like, I'm like, Coach, like I just want to play golf and have fun over the summer.
Yeah.
He wants us to work, but no, it's just like a really cool culture that we have on the team right now.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Vincent, thanks for joining me on the show. Yeah. The golf team, folks, they're wrapping up the year. Conference championships to take place Monday, April 30th, and Tuesday, May 1st. It is the conference tournament hosted by 3 different conferences, the AII, Red River, and the Golden State Athletic Conference, all co-hosts there. It's going to be at Wigwam Golf Club in Litchfield Park, Arizona. 2 days, 3 rounds, and a conference champion will be crowned. We thank you so much for tuning in all season long to Unrooted. Vincent is the final interviewee for any sport during the 2017-2018 season. So again, we thank you for tuning in all season long. Don't forget to stay tuned in the summer. About once a week or maybe every other week, we're going to be rolling out some behind-the-scenes Menlo Athletics Unrooted episodes, so you can get a sneak peek of what it is that we do behind the scenes to help make our department function as it so awesomely does. So until then, enjoy the beginning of your summer, everybody. Good luck to the golf team at the conference tournament, and we will see you next time.